For years, I've been telling my clients about population growth being a priority to look at when you're buying a property or an investment. And what the reason why I wanted to bring this up to you is because the controversial figures Elon Musk and Joe Rogan have brought it up recently. And I think it's important to also bring up even further. On a podcast for Joe Rogan, he was mentioning with a friend of his, Eddie Bravo, that population in the entire world could fit in the city of Los Angeles because, according to a source that they referenced, 10 people can fit into a square meter, and there's 1.2 billion square meters in Los Angeles. Therefore, everyone can fit in there.
Standing shoulder to shoulder, the entire world's population can fit within 500 square miles
of Los Angeles.
Of Los Angeles.
What? Okay, so
Shoulder
think about
to
that.
shoulder.
So if that's true, so it must be true, right?
Right.
If that's true, even if let's just say that's off, and
That's only
it's
LA.
the whole United States. I know it's only LA, right? If that's true,
Okay.
there ain't nobody on this motherfucker, dude. That would mean if we got everybody in Alaska or everybody in Texas and the whole world was empty,
Right.
all of South America,
Okay.
Asia, Russia, to me, that means this overpopulation bullshit is a fucking myth, man.
But wait
That's
a minute,
myth.
that doesn't make any sense because what they're saying in this Los Angeles thing is people stand shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, I'm
You
just saying
can't
if
live
that's
like
true, if that's
Now, I don't know how true that is, but it got me thinking on why it's so important to talk about population growth. Same thing with Elon Musk saying one of the big priorities to look out for, one of the concerns for the world is depopulation, more so in the United States.
All over from like, I don't know, the 70s or something, you know. So there was a huge baby boom, like where people did have a ton of kids after World War II. But then the U.S. has actually been the birth rate in the U.S. has been below replacement rate since like 71 or 72.
In the
Like
US,
50 years. Really, you can just look at, say, what was the birth rate last year, how many kids were born, multiply that by the life expectancy, and say, okay, that's how many people will be alive, in the future. And then say, is the trend for birth rate positive or negative? It's negative. So that's the best case, unless
I don't know how true either one of those are. I haven't looked into it, but the reason why I bring it up is just to get your attention on why population growth is important in real estate. A friend of mine named Anton Creel made a speech where he mentioned how important population growth is for real estate. He was saying the reason why property speculation has worked in the Western world in the last several generations because the population has been growing, but now birth rates in the West are plummeting.
Birth rates in the West are plummeting. So think about it. If your country's birth rate is 2 children per family or just above, the population remains the same over 2 generations. If it's 1, it halves. The population halves. Do you get that? The buildings will still be there, but there's half the amount of people. So all these people that think they're going to be, renting out properties for the next 50 years and just sitting on a beach somewhere with their feet up drinking Mai Tais while they make this thing they call passive income. I'm trying to think where they actually get this assumption from. Because you need people to rent your properties. If the population's half, you're just going to be one of those people that ends up with a load of properties that are empty and a shitload of mortgage debt. And it is in the process of halving, literally right now. So it's a massive headwind for GDP growth and property prices in these countries.
Coastal communities, though, in my opinion, are like blue chip stocks. They're always going to be valuable. It's a stable place of real estate because you can't replace it. Everyone wants to be by the coast for the most parts of the United States because that's where it's beautiful and it's not dangerous to be around besides, situations that might mess it up from the climate. Building wealth through real estate relies on cash flow. So you have to have a high occupancy rate for the rentals. So you want to constantly get all this rent from the tenants. So if you have a depopulation area or the population isn't growing, therefore you're going to have a higher vacancy rate. And that's what you don't want. You want more people and more density in a given area so that you can continue to collect rents. I'm more than happy to show you all the real estate metrics I look at to help you decide whether it's a good investment or not for investment property, all the cash flow, occupancy rates, and things like that.